Great fucking killer.
Peter's one of my favorite guys, period, bro. To watch fight since his first fight in the UFC.
We were just talking about him. Man, he is
love this guy,
killer.
Bro. Computer.
Yeah.
Cold-blooded computer. Can wrestle, can strike, can grapple. Great gas. And he's mentally tough as it gets.
Yeah. Dude, he's so
You're not
good.
breaking that guy, bro.
So
anybody can get caught, whatever, but that guy's not breaking. You're
like you said, anybody can get caught, but he's a fucking...
He's not.
Bro, like people talk about best boxing in MMA. Dude,
Yeah.
Peter's, I think he's up there.
And
He might be the guy.
And it's crazy to hear.
As a fight fan, you ask
Yes.
me if I like fights like guys like Jan. That's the style of fight that I love to watch, man.
Whew.
That's the just violent,
Dude,
but technical and just fun, man.
If that was...
You gotta give kudos to the great Urijah Faber for even considering a fight with Petr Yan after such a lengthy layoff. Coming out of retirement and scoring a 46-second KO of Ricky Simon is all well and good. But taking a step up against Petr Yan as a 40-year-old? And he actually asked for this fight? Yeah, Urijah Faber has some stones, that much is clear. Faber was in good spirits in the lead-up to the bout, making it clear that he didn't want an easy route back into title contention.
This fight is the toughest fight out there, you know, and that's the ones I want. You know, I talked to Dana, and Dana's fair with me. I mean, I'm not trying to go and hold these guys to the light. I don't have, you know, all the reason in the world to be, you know, getting Uber's amounts of cash, but I want something that's fair. And I said, look, I'll fight whoever you want. Give me the toughest dudes. And he gave me a bunch of options of guys, and he said, this is the guy that, you know, we think is the man.
As expected, Yan proved to be the superior fighter when all was said and done, TKOing Urijah in round 3 to effectively end his UFC career. It was a classic Yan performance, a slow, methodical build, but one that came with some heavy consequences later in the fight. Faber had a few decent moments here and there, but the head kick that put him out was an unquestionably beautiful shot. Years later, Urijah would reflect on Petr's skill while picking him to beat Aljamain Sterling in their rematch, calling his wrestling improved and admiring him for his momentum. Out of all of the rivalries Yan has already had and will likely continue to have in this sport, no one has really had their name attached to his quite like Aljamain Sterling. At one point in time, Aljo was simply another contender, another underdog title challenger who seemed destined to become another name on Jan's resume. Sterling himself seemed confident in his stylistic approach and how it would match up against Petr's.
I get one takedown, that 101 takedown attempt, I get him down on his back. It's going to be a long night for that guy.
Little did he know that the rematch would bring him greater success in this regard. Anyway, the build-up to the first fight also included one of the strangest back-and-forth exchanges of trash talk in UFC history, which we felt was important to mention.
I hope they teach you how to catch a mouse.
Говорит, надеется, что тебя научили, как ловить мышку.
Я мышей ловлю всю жизнь.
I'm catching the mouse my whole life.
Mouse don't strangle people, though. Ты одна из них, которая будешь поймана.
And you're one of them.
But of course, Yan would largely have his way with Aljo in their initial pairing, until he landed an insane illegal knee to bring the fight to a premature close. As you might expect, Aljamain was quite emotional post-fight, although an infamous picture of him celebrating with the belt that night made him public enemy number 1. But Aljo's vindication would come shortly after, when their rematch saw him use his skill set far more effectively, finding crucial takedowns and stealing close rounds to retain his title, legitimizing himself in the process. In his own mind, the fight offered a major redemption arc for him, something that allowed him to savor the moment when he took home the decision victory.
If he wants to run it back, we can run it back, but I got my sights set on somebody else right now, TJ.
And while Jan is currently 0-2 after a pair of very controversial and divisive decisions, if he can score a win in his next outing and Aljamain Sterling does the same, the UFC will absolutely have no hesitation in setting us up for a third helping. Few fighters within the sport of mixed martial arts are as underrated as Cory Sandhagen. Despite coming up short in a pair of extremely narrowly contested decisions, and losing by way of rapid first-round rear naked choke to champ Aljamain Sterling, he remains one of the very best 135-pound fighters on the planet. And when the UFC decided to sign him for an interim Bantamweight title showdown against Petr Yan, the fans knew for certain that we would get an intense, high-level striking affair.
I think, honestly, man, I think that me and Jan have a lot of similarities going into this fight. I think that our mentalities are very similar. I think that we both go out and we try to take the other person out. I think that we're both very defensive fighters, and I think that we both are very dangerous fighters.
And boy, did these two put on one hell of a contest. 5 insanely high-level rounds of action saw the Bantamweight division with maybe the most elite stand-up battle since Dominic Cruz versus TJ Dillashaw. It was a truly next-level display of the striking arts from both men, a fight that could only be separated by the most minuscule of fractions. Both men had their moments, but in the end, it was Petr Yan who did just enough to earn the victory. A result that was highlighted by a wild exchange to close out the 5th round. Post-fight, Cory was as respectful as can be, giving props to Jan for being one hell of a fighter, before admitting that, no, he didn't think that he had actually won the fight.
He's a hell of a fighter, man. Oh man, you're a good fighter, man. You're a great fighter. He was better tonight, man. I have nothing else to say. I always ask, I want to fight the best in the world. I know that that's what's going to make me the best martial artist that I can be. And I'm grateful I got to do it tonight. I'll take from it and I'll learn from it, and next time I face him, I'll get the win.
Sandhagen remains a true martial artist and student of the game, so it is likely that we'll see him make the climb once again. Pre-fight, the longtime prospect turned top contender Sean O'Malley was pretty blunt. Instead of fielding complicated questions about his intentions going in, he made a point of always bringing it back to one simple point. He was going to punch Petr Yan in the face until the fight was over. In the end, O'Malley did just enough to win the bout on the scorecards, and the fight of the night bonus for the event. But it was a damn close fight, there's no denying it. Considering just how great a bout it was, there was nothing but respect from Sean O'Malley for Yan afterwards, as he called his rival a gangster while commending him for his toughness. In his eyes, the win also offered him some major validation to the fans. Even if you scored this narrow contest the other way, it was impossible to deny Sugar Sean's status as one of the very best bantamweights in the world.
He blinded you with the jab, step deep. That's the hardest I've ever been hit in my life.
Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to click the bell to be notified of future videos. If you want to be featured in the video, leave a comment down below.